Arlen Glick, it's great to have you back on the Singletrack Podcast.
Thanks. I'm excited to be here.
Yeah, it's exciting that we're finally all here in Palisades. It's race week. So you're returning M3. You get a special bib. How much weight does that bib number carry going into the 50th running of this race?
Well, I mean, it's funny because if I analyzed last year, I have to remind myself that was my first mountain race ever.
Yes.
So I think when I look at that element, that's pretty cool.
I agree.
Talk about what went right on that day, and also talk about what you felt went wrong on that day that you're looking to correct this time around.
Yeah, there's last year leading up to it, I remember people talking about the importance of experience on the course. And I kind of wanted to joke around and be like, yeah, right. I can get it the first try, right? But that, just learning the highs and lows of the course, because it is so different from, going over the high country, climbing out of the canyons, and then the last 38 miles of just cruisy trail. With having learned kind of the highs and lows of the chorus, and then analyzing what went wrong last year. I mean, there was plenty that went wrong. If you want me to dive into a couple of the things. Top three. So the worst three things about last year. Yeah. So I would have to back up a little bit. February of last year, worst injury of my career. Butchered my left hip at Jackpot. Finished the race.
Yep.
So came back from that. Training went really smooth for, leading up to the race, fortunately. Unfortunately, then right leg compensation caught up with me mid-race. Had severe hamstring cramping mid-race. Dealt with that from 40 to finish line pretty much. So that was just mechanically, things weren't working properly. But I did a ton of things right. Nutritionally, it was decent. I had poor planning, got short on calories just because of my stupid planning. Other than that, I came back from it. I figured it out around Michigan Bluff, and then nutritionally, the rest of the race went smooth. So whatever, there's some content.
And you feel like some of those things are out of your control, injuries that happen mid-race, but do you feel like the things that you can control, you have corrected for heading into this race?
Yeah, a lot of things. So last year, the other thing is I spent a week on course last year. Yeah. This year I've spent 5 weeks in the mountains.
Did you cover the whole course?
3 of those. Not quite. There's some of those miles are unproductive up in the high country. Or when I was out here. Maybe they're better now, but spent a lot of time on course now. Learned that. Hopefully corrected everything. The mechanics haven't been 100%, but I think we're shooting towards an amazing day. Find out.
I was listening to your interview on the Adventure Jogger podcast earlier this spring, and one thing that stood out to me was the fact that at Umstead earlier this year, you were incredibly efficient. You spent 21 seconds of stoppage time in aid en route to a win there. Talk about how you did that, and maybe preview what we can expect at Western States in terms of trying to come anywhere close to that low of stoppage time.
Yeah, hate to blow it right away, but you can't expect anything like that at Western. Umstead is a 12.4 mile loop that we do 8 times. Aid halfway through the loop. So we have 2 aid stops, so approximately every 45 minutes, where I'm looking for about 300 calories every 45 minutes. Yep. So we were doing handoffs, and that worked very smooth, other than one failed attempt at a handoff, which accounted for part of those 21 seconds.
Wow. Ballparking it for Western States, what's your goal stoppage time?
Yeah, so on a hot year like last year, I think 20 minutes is probably minimum. Okay. On a cool year, I'm thinking 10 minutes. But I had 38 minutes last year. So
lot to shave.
a lot to shave. I think a lot can be shaved, but I don't think it's possible, especially with less crew access, to go under that like 10 minutes.
Yeah.
I guess, yes, going from last year to this year, a decent amount has changed. You'd said that, Western States was like your first mountainous race. You then went on to, compete at Run Rabbit, which then got you into Hard Rock. You signed a professional contract with Kraft. How is all that, if it has, changed your approach to, running or the sport in general?
Well, I mean, yeah, like having sort of some success last year, which I'm really stoked and grateful for what went down last year. I had an amazing season, but like mechanically things were screwed up all year. So, it means a lot though. Like just being sponsored is a really big deal, a big change, a mindset shift that's really amazing. Having someone that believes in you and is actually willing to invest in you makes a big difference, especially coming from East Coast. Yeah. I could never afford to invest what I have into Western States on my own. So that's probably the biggest shift.
Would you characterize yourself as a 100-mile specialist?
Yeah, for sure.
And your record at that distance is unassailable. You're one of the best in the sport. There's no question about it. But one curious thing you said in that Adventure Jogger interview is when you compare yourself to someone like Tom Evans in this field or Anthony Costales, you have different skill sets, different strengths, different weaknesses. When it comes to competing at this race, hopefully to get on the podium again, maybe even win the race, what do you see as your strengths against those types of runners that allow you to have success on race day?
Yeah, I think I was discussing this with Cole Watson. We know he can run fast, and he can also tackle mountains. But I don't have the element of speed that Cole Watson has, Tom Evans, those guys. Okay. But one thing that Cole Watson said, he said last year he did Western States, and then he tried to get back in marathon shape. And he said it was harder than it's ever been for him. For me, being a 100-mile specialist, I can just kind of roll from one race to the next and never have to switch that up. And I think it allows for a lot smoother ride going from one race to the next when you don't have to try to switch the pace up, switch the efficiency up. And I think you can just, all in all, like get really dialed on your distance.
Have you put much thought into what rolling into the next race is going to look like, or are you mostly just keeping the blinders on?
I didn't say anything about rolling from here to Hard Rock, but whatever. Let's just assume that Hard Rock is a 200-mile race. Okay, 24 hours is an amazing time there, right? I've spent, I think, 19 hours on my feet is my record.
Okay, yeah.
So I don't know.
It'll be a vision quest.
Yeah, it's going to be an adventure.
That's super exciting. Yeah, I mean, not many people have the opportunity to do, a double like this.
Yeah, and I think it's really awesome to have this on my calendar because I was telling people I lost count how many hundreds, probably getting close to 20. And I haven't challenged my crazy in a little while. And I am so excited that somebody threw this on obviously I applied for it, but
yeah,
I'm so excited that someone threw this on my calendar that I could be perfectly justified and yet challenging my crazy to beyond anything I ever have.
When was the last time you'd say you challenged your crazy?
I'm not sure.
Run Rabbit?
Yeah, but they were all such small challenges. I'm not the guy to I tend to think of myself as being a cautious guy. I like small incremental steps. And I feel like Hard Rock is that next step after Run Rabbit, right? Yep. But give me a trashed body for that next step. And then we've got there's a crazy challenge.
Are you going to pivot straight from Olympic Valley to hanging out in Silverton? For those 3 weeks, 2-3 weeks?
Almost. So I was advised I would be best to go home for like 5 days, recover sort of at sea level. I think recovery will go a little bit smoother. And then, yes, going for the 2 weeks before the race, I'll be arriving close to Silverton and spending the 2 weeks leading up to the race.
I forgot to ask you about nutrition for states. Are you going all liquid calories this year?
The plan is to go liquid calories.
Okay.
I have been so much smoother going liquid. I've experimented with a lot of other things, but the more liquids and the less solids I went with, the least stop for the least chance for a pit stop. So we're probably going to go with that, but still be flexible if something goes wrong.
Coca-Cola.
More
than 320.
Yeah, Coca-Cola is I tell people Coca-Cola is my secret weapon, okay? I have no secrets, but if I did, Coca-Cola
that would be the one.
is the secret. So, yes, Coca-Cola is what takes me out of a bad time.
Okay.
So, if the better the race goes, the less Coke I drink. At Umstead, I had like 2.5 swallows of Coke. That was a race where
Good race.
nutrition went well. If I'm drinking Coke at 30 miles in, yeah, it's probably not going good.
Okay.
Where should we, based on your race strategy, well, actually, let me ask you this question. When you think about what is a successful day at Western States on Saturday, given that you've already podiumed at this race, is anything less than second place or winning this race on Saturday in your book a failure?
No, not at all. Like, I think, like, yeah, it would be awesome to win this thing. Like, I can't think of anything more special than taking that, being the East Coaster that come out here and
Yes,
broke
I love
the
that storyline.
26-year curse. I think that would be so special. I would love to see that happen. I would love to give back to Kraft in that way for the way they've invested into me. I would love to give back to the East Coast for the fan base that I have back there. That would be awesome. But all I need for me is I want to get to that finish line and be able to say what I haven't for a long, long time. I want to say that was all I had. And that's, to me, it doesn't matter so much. Now, I think if I get there and say that's all I had, I think I'm going to be a tough dude to beat, okay? If I have my day. I think if I have my day, I'm going to be a tough dude to beat. That doesn't mean I'm unbeatable, okay? I don't think I'm the fastest guy in the world. I want to believe I'm the strongest guy on the start line at this time, but I think that's healthy for everybody to think that. So, yeah, I don't see not winning or even like going as deep as 5th or 10th. Like, I don't see that as being failure. I'm racing myself. I want to be able to say that was all I had.
I like that.
That checked all my question box. I'm just ready for you to
that
go
was
race
inspiring.
now.
I got
I'm
chills.
ready.
We got to clip that.
Yeah, I'm ready. I'm ready for you for the gun to go off so I can actually watch this thing unfold. Before we let you go, though, we do have a little tradition here that we've started at the Singletrack HQ. Mike, do you want to go grab our?
Oh, Dylan's got it.
Dylan's got it. Okay,
Here.
so-
Let me take your mic.
Oh.
So,
Arlen, take that pen.
So this is the official watermelon of Western States for 2023, and there's two things we would love for you to do since you've come by and give us your time here at this Singletrack headquarters. We'd love for you. You'll have 15 seconds to draw your best cougar.
Oh.
And then we would love for you to sign it.
And I'll
Can I sign somebody else's cougar?
Sorry, we got a cougar right there.
It's a 1-to-1.
Oh,
It's a 1-to-1 ratio.
this is terrible.
All right, so here we'll give you a spot right here.
I'm gonna give you a 3, 2, 1 countdown once you have it in hand.
Wait, ultra runners suck at art. Wow.
Yeah, so you're fine.
Okay, I feel at home.
3, 2, 1, go.
We got a long
10.
Oh, no, is there
you
Nine.
gotta.
this is a bad
I
shot.
jinxed the
One
Sharpie.
sec. Oh. We're gonna start over here. We're gonna start
over. Cougar DNF.
I don't have another one in my pocket. Where's the other Sharpie?
Oh no, technical difficulties. Technical difficulties.
Technical.
Maybe it was a bad part of the water.
We got it.
Another Sharpie.
All right, new Sharpie, new countdown.
All right.
Refresh. That was a shakeout.
Now let me test this one. Okay.
All right, 3, 2, 1, go. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6.
You only
I got a
needed-
sign.
4, 3, 2, 1. Time.
And it went dead halfway through the signature.
Let's take a look.
All right.
Arlen only needed 8 seconds for the Cougar.
That's a you have a course record.
Chorus record.
That's a course record.
Chorus record on a good-looking cougar too.
Actually,
I mean, check it out.
I like it.
Arlen, I got to ask you one more question because it just came to mind. Given that you are a 100-mile specialist, has Carl Meltzer's 100-mile win record ever crossed your mind? And has that ever been something that you might go for as your career develops?
I mean, that's really cool. Do you know what he's at
I think he's at 40-something. It's like 44, 45, in that neighborhood.
Well, I mean,
What are you at?
I'm probably at like around 10 or something.
You're young, though.
I'm young. I better be young.
Carl
yeah.
was young once too.
He was young once too. That's a good question. I mean, it crossed my mind, but I didn't even know what it was at. So if it's at 40 something, I mean, assume it. If he doesn't keep stacking it up, maybe someday. But I think like maybe in the belt buckle collecting stage of my career.
Okay.
If I were to like avoid competition, maybe that would be something that would be pretty cool. But I doubt I'll stack up a whole lot of wins at big events like this.
Cool. Well, Arlen, such a pleasure to have you on the show. We really appreciate your time. We know it's a busy media week, especially for someone like you, and it means a lot for you to stop by. So thank you so much, and we're looking forward to following your race on Saturday.
Yeah, thanks for having me.